I mean, I think he's another situation. I honestly, if I got a chance to take him, I'm going to take him because you have to think. Here's the thing, Arnie. He's 25 years old. He's still a baby. Yes, he had a bad year last year, but fact of the matter is, you as going into your 25th year, you have to change leagues, change sides of the country, and then go to New York on top of all of that. That's a lot to adapt to. So I buy into Edwin Diaz, but I'm with you in that I buy so hesitantly.
God, it just makes me. Yeah, there's no doubt the talent is there. I just don't think, as I do like Ken Giles in Toronto, I don't like Edwin Diaz in Queens. That's my bottom line there. It's not for lack of ability to throw the baseball, but he never knows where it's going. Do you remember Chappy? And I know if Lenny's listening, he'll remember this guy. Do you remember Ryan Duran back in the 60s that played with the Yankees? And do you remember anything about him at all? Just reading about him? Because I know you don't remember watching him play.
Right, that's before my time. So
Ryan Duran wore these. He wore these Coke bottle glasses. Okay, and I never watched him play, but I've met Ryan Duran before he passed away. Ryan Duran wore these Coke bottle glasses, and always, when he was warming up on the mound not in the bullpen, but on the mound in the game, he'd always throw his last warm-up pitch over everybody's head. Okay? But it was intentional.
Sure.
And then he'd come out and he'd boom, 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 the Yankees win, Yankees win. The thing about it with Diaz is he doesn't intentionally do it. It just happens. And so that scares me. May I move on to number 2?
Please do.
Okay. First of all, I like teams who win a lot of games when I have closers on my fantasy team. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Which is why I'm not going to Aroldis Chapman. That's low-hanging fruit this year.
Of course.
Okay. Because I think we'll agree. Will we agree Aroldis Chapman would be your number 1 closer this year? Would we agree on that?
I have him in that slow draft, brother.
He's got to be your number 1 closer if you go there. He's going to save 50 games barring an injury. I mean, there's just, okay. But taking him out of the equation, I'm trying to dive deep. There's a team in the National League that I think is prime to possibly win the division. I think they're primed to win over 90 games. And their manager has come out and said that this player, who in the last 14 games he pitched last year did not blow a save situation 14 times, 14 saves, may I add. Okay? So he came in his last 14 save opportunities, 14 consecutive saves. He was not the closer all year. I like the D-backs, and I really dig Archie Bradley.
Good call. Good call. He was on my list of guys. I've been a big Archie Bradley fan for a long time, and I'm excited that he's getting his chance this year. I hope it works out. That's not a vote of confidence, so is it?
Well, it's teetering on that, but not quite. But he saved of save opportunities 94.4%. Second on my list in percentage. He had 17 saves and once again only 1 blown. Now I know it was last year, but like you, I like Archie Bradley. I like the way he throws the ball, and frankly, I like him in that division.
Well, and they're an improved team too, right? I mean, that's another part of it is, I mean, really you look at what they've done, he'll get more opportunities too.
I think he saves 40 games this year.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. So, I really do think that, I've seen him a couple times in the minor leagues, and he's always really impressed me, even as a prospect. So, I think that it might finally be his time.
So we got 4 closers we've named, Chappy, and we like them all. Some more than others, but we like them all. Now, here we go. Your last one, Chappie. You got to make it good. You got people listening like Andrea, Doug Boyle, Lenny, Malpal, Royals 29. Boom, we know that to be Kevin Hastings. Aloha from Hawaii. And you've even got guest Flora listening to you. They're all waiting for your third choice at closer. Who do you trust, Chappie?
Well, it's really, at this point, about feel, right? And damn it, Arnie, you had to make it tough on me. I was going to talk about Chapman, but I'm going to pivot. Okay, he is low-hanging fruit. I do want to talk about the fact that, you know, when you are looking at drafting, reaching out for a guy like Aroldis Chapman is worth the pick. He's worth the draft value. But let's go back to the whole environment thing. Let's talk about, holistically, teams that have improved. And I want to go back to Texas. And I want to talk about Jose Leclerc. I know his numbers aren't great from last year, right? He lost his job. He's really kind of, you know, he struggled for a while. But fact of the matter is, this guy still has a really nasty slider. He still has a really good fastball. And I expect him to rebound.
I love it.
Take over that job in Texas and really run with it.
I love it. So you think like, do you agree with me? Texas is going to be I think Texas is a sleeper team this year.
Totally, and that's my whole reason for thinking this, right? I really do think that, given an opportunity, he has a career 3.18 ERA. Last year was 4.33. I look for him to kind of gravitate back towards the mean. I really do believe in this kid's stuff. I think last year was just a trial and error thing. He didn't do well at age 25. He just needed another year to grow into his skin as a closer. And I think he reverts back closer to his 1.56 ERA from 2018 and takes over and could get 25 to 30 saves this year.
You can't hear it, but there's applause in the background as you finish talking about Leclerc. Because the chat room is loving, and here's more. They're loving the fact that you go out on a limb and you give us that information. So, may I follow your lead?
Please.
You've heard me by now, I'm sure, as I've talked about who I predict to win the Central Divisions. I have gone out on a limb, and I have said the Cincinnati Reds, and you've already named Iglesias.
Yeah.
And I've also said look out for who in the American League? The Chicago White Sox. And so for that reason, my third and final closer, when you're digging deep and we're helping you guys in the chat room with your drafts, Alex Colomé. I think Alex Colomé can save 35 to 40 games for the White Sox. I looked at what he's done. He only blew 3 saves last year on a White Sox team that didn't win many games, Chappie. He saved 30. His K to 9 is not blow you away stuff, but the average against is 191. He has a 107 whip. And I think he's going to be in an environment where winning is going to be in style this year with the Chicago White Sox. So I'm going Colorado.
I agree.
So those are our 6. And
pretty good stuff. I mean, not what I expected. You know, we go into this blind, right? We don't talk about this, but I think we did a pretty good job of staying away from the cherry picks.
Well, we didn't talk about. Look at the ones we didn't talk about, and these are the ones that are going to go high. And and I'm trying to give. You know, we're trying to do this. If you're listening, chat room, and I know you are, We're trying to give you players to look at later in the draft and get those bats or get those starting pitchers early. Now, we've not given you Aroldis Chapman, Josh Hader, Kirby Yates, Brad Hand, Taylor Rogers, if you want to put him in that group. I don't quite put him in that group. But we didn't talk about any of those guys. We talked about guys that have the ability on teams to succeed. So that's where we are. Now, Chappie, you had an idea today as we shift gears, go to part 2, if you will, 25 minutes into the show, about risers and fallers, both positional and starting pitchers. So pick, where do we go first? I'm ready. I got them both covered, so you tell me, buddy. I'm ready.
This is fun, right? Because it really is an open book at this point. But the first guy I want to talk about, and, so I kind of sent a text to Arnie this morning, just kind of these 3 questions, the ones we're talking about. So it really kind of, 3 guys that aren't getting talked about as much as they should be. This first guy, and this is all perspective of ADP, right? And where guys are getting drafted right now. So the first guy I want to talk about, and first off, I want to say, and Arnie, sorry to pivot a little bit, but all this Astros shit, and pardon my language, I'm trying to purposefully avoid it, okay? Because that's not fun, and this is fun to me, okay? But so this first guy's an Astro, but I don't want to talk about all that stuff. I don't think it's beneficial to the sport or to us having a good time. But the first guy I want to talk about, how about Michael Brantley? And the reason why I wanted to talk about Michael Brantley is, just talking about what we were talking about with the closers, he seems to be pretty happy in Houston. Wouldn't you say that?
No doubt about it. And I love the fact that you started with an Astro. And I love the fact you started, especially in light of my show this morning. And I love the fact that you started with Michael Brantley. No doubt.
Yeah. So okay, I get it. He's 32 years old. He's past his, air quotes, prime, right? But if you look at what he did last year, and if you look at his career stats, I'll challenge that a little bit, okay? So first off, let's talk about ADP. He's going, again, I lost my information. Arnie, maybe you could help me out here. He's going in the 130s, I believe.
It's on up there. I'm going to find it because I marked him relative. Yeah, I got him at 124 ADP,
there you
Chappie.
go. So 124 ADP. He's ranked behind guys like Zach Gallen, who I think Lenny was talking about might not even have a job, a starting position, right? He's ranked behind Luis Robert. He's ranked behind Trey Mancini, Victor Robles. I'd take him over all those guys, Arnie.
He's at 124 on my ADP that I'm looking at, and Yu Darvish is at 71. Yu Darvish is going 53 places ahead of Michael Brantley. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. And that's my whole point, right? So, let's start first. He's a career 297 hitter. Guys, there's not a whole lot of 300 hitters out there in this day and age. To say that, to start with, over an 11-year career, that he's a 297 hitter, already gives some clout and some credibility, right?
No doubt.
So last year, he hit .311. He hit 22 homers, and he had 90 RBIs. Why are those numbers significant, Arnie? Because those are all career highs. As a 31-year-old, he had career highs in all 3 of those categories. Significant categories, right?
No doubt. And he hits in a pretty solid lineup in a favorable spot in the order. He's going to drive them in, Chappie.
Absolutely. And just my final point on Brantley. Everybody's talking about the downfall of the Astros, and they're right. Okay? But not this year. The Astros are going to be still really damn good. Right?
I think you're right. I don't think they're going to go from a 105-team win to 83. No. I think there's too much talent, and I don't know that we know the intricacies